Thanks for joining us today. This is People Over Politics, Episode 2, hosted by yours truly, Martin Mitchell. And today we have a very special guest, Hope Wiseman. Hope, she is an entrepreneur, she is a philanthropist, she is an advocate, and so much more. And, I think that's a little bit hope, but tell us what everybody knows you for. And of course, I guess the first thing that we should talk about, because of course, I am a cannabis advocate. So please tell us a little bit about your cannabis advocacy, but also, what you do entrepreneurially and philanthropic.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Hope Wiseman. I am one of the co-founders and the current CEO of Marion, Maine, which is a medical cannabis dispensary in Maryland. I and my mother run our dispensary, born and raised in Maryland, and we're super excited to be involved in the cannabis industry and that we got our start in our hometown. I am beyond thankful to represent Black ownership in the cannabis industry. There's very, very little Black ownership in the cannabis industry, despite its racist past. And now, as a owner in the industry, I'm always or also an advocate for, equitable licensing laws, equitable laws around how the plant is taxated, and simply around how we can use the plant for good. And I'm really thankful to be able to carry that burden, even though it's something that when I first got started in the industry, I didn't expect. I didn't understand the impact that I could have on the industry.
Sure.
Um, yeah, but I'm really excited about it.
Well, Hope, of course I've known a lot about what Mary and Maine has done for the industry, and I think you were modest, right? You guys are one of the,
Mm,
if not the first, one of the first Black-owned dispensaries in the state of Maryland, and of course,
yeah.
I'm not sure if still currently, but one of the youngest dispensary owners, in the U.S. So that's something to applaud right here in
Thank
gorgeous
you.
Prince George's. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is everyone has a story about what brought them to cannabis, and what brought you to the cannabis industry, and what is your story behind it.
hmm Okay, so it was 2014 for me, and I had just graduated from college. I graduated with a degree in economics. I had gotten a job full time in investment banking, and I was really looking to pursue that. I wanted to learn more about that industry, how it worked, and that's where I thought my career would start. But that's also around the year that cannabis started becoming more mainstream, at least on the East Coast from a legal perspective. So cannabis was on the cover of Forbes, Time magazine. It was definitely becoming more mainstream, and I started to realize the impact of the industry. I started to realize how large the industry would be, and how quickly it was growing. And when I considered, the history of the industry, the impact of the scientific findings that would come from the industry, and just overall the economic impact on our country that this industry would have, I realized that this would be an opportunity to really build wealth. And most industries have passed us by, and when I say us, I mean minorities. So I believe that because this industry is still emerging, regulations are still being developed, we have a unique opportunity to really shape this industry to be what we want it to be. And I think that's what makes this industry extremely unique.
Absolutely. I think that you hit it on the nose, and I'm glad that you are one of the people who started the research early, because a lot of times if you want to get into this industry, you have to be ahead of the licenses, right? And
hmm
what we mean or what I mean by that is basically already have your business plan, already have money in the bank, your financing together, so when these licenses drop, you have all the requirements to apply. um
Exactly.
yeah, I applaud you for that. And so one of the things I wanted to segue, right? I like to get a break of the seriousness. I don't know. I know you're always on federal politics. So Mitch McConnell, I don't know if you saw recently his statements. I believe it was about like an omnibus bill, but the comments that I'm speaking of is related to safe banking, where he basically
Hmm.
like, oh, you guys talk more about marijuana than you did about China, and and these pills, and I'm confused on which pills he was exactly specifying, but I'm heard that statement. It was completely with that prohibition, reefer madness. It's sad to hear people still talk like that today because from a standpoint of an advocate, I know that the safe banking, as a legal cannabis owner, business owner, sometimes it's very tough to do business, because
Yeah.
of course you can't keep your money in banks. It's hard to get loans. You got to do these high interest loans if they will give it to you, and at the end of the day, like sometimes they have to hire like private security, ex-military, to safeguard their business. You know,
Hmm.
so these are why these safe banking measures are necessary. You know,
Hmm.
but I want to hear your thoughts on that, and what you think about Mitch's statement.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was using cannabis as a scapegoat for not dealing with like other issues that people were trying to hold him accountable for. Like at the end of the day, the issues around cannabis are very real. They're not even, I don't even think anyone in their right mind would question why somebody would be passionate around making sure that these laws, why somebody wouldn't be passionate around making sure that these laws are truly equitable. So I think now that federal policy is being challenged, we're just seeing what we cherish in state legislation. We're seeing that come to a head at the federal level. And I think that cannabis is just an easy scapegoat because when you start to look at it from like a federal standpoint versus a state or local standpoint, it starts to become such a serious issue that I feel like it's easy to always push it up um, to that level of an issue, if that makes sense.
Sure,
Yeah.
and that makes a lot of sense. Um, and of course, I know that you being an advocate, you testify all the time. I believe I saw where you had testified on a bill in Annapolis. Tell us a little bit about that bill and what that bill would do for you as a business owner.
Yeah, totally. So the bill that you're in reference to was Senate Bill 333. And this is a bill that would essentially abolish 280E at the state level. So 280E is a code of the Internal Revenue Code, essentially a tax law that says that any business that is federally illegal should still report taxes. So they should still report their income, but they cannot deduct any normal business expense. So the only thing you're allowed to deduct is COGS, which is your direct cost of goods. As a dispensary, essentially that's only the cost of the actual product that we buy for wholesale. So the cost of salaries, marketing materials, office supplies, anything of the sort, we can't write that off, and we're taxed at that level. It makes it so that cannabis businesses are often 6 to 7 times um, paying more. It's like about 6 to 7 times more in taxes than a typical business in Maryland. So the bill that I testified on would take away at least the state tax of 280E, and we would be able to deduct state business taxes.
Yeah, I mean that is awesome. Myself, of course, as a patient, I recently learned how to write off being a medical patient because, of course, there's no manuscript about that. So, of course, working with my accountant, but you guys as business owners should be able to, make sure to write it off as well.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
yes, exactly. You should be treated just like CVS and Rite Aid. You know, because of thought, because one day, my hope is that I can go into the medical dispensary, recreational or medical, and I could use crypto to pay.
I'm sure.
That,
I'm
that
sure it's gonna happen like quicker than we even think.
yes. So, you know, just on that topic, are there any cryptos to pay attention to? Because I remember that you gave me some great crypto tips last time. So are there any cryptos to pay attention to, or that you love in the long run? I know.
Yeah, no, I'm not that up on it, so I can't talk on it. I can't give any advice. I'm learning alongside everybody.
No, you had some great crypto micro stocks last time if I recall, but I'd have to look at the list.
Not this time.
Not the time. Well, that's fair. So basically, there's a lot of bills going on in the General Assembly this year. Of course, especially in relation to cannabis. What do you want to see most, and what are some of the bills that you're following the closest? And then
Totally. So, we know that House Bill 1 is likely gonna, pass without any opposition. House Bill 1
that's
is essentially putting legalization on the ballot.
okay.
Um, but we're also seeing some bills introduced that would govern the program. So, for those that don't get it, and this is what I was explaining on Instagram the other day, um, there's the bill that will put cannabis on the ballot initiative, but then there are also bills that have been introduced alongside that would essentially tell us how the program will be governed, how licenses will be given out, and all of the regulations that are associated with it. And if these deals were passed, or these bills were passed, that would mean that they would only go into place when the ballot initiative goes through and is passed by vote. If those bills that govern the industry are not passed, what that means is the vote will happen in November. And if we vote yes, which will likely happen, it will be another year or so. The next legislative session, they will have to introduce a bill that will, explain how the program will be governed and all of those regulations. And we will have to wait for that to pass before there will be another application process or actual recreational sales would happen. And I compared it to what happened in New York and what happened in Virginia because they were both ballot initiatives and the programs were developed years passing after the ballot initiative happened. So that potentially, we could legalize cannabis this year, but it could be 2 more years before, a typical person has an opportunity to apply or even buy recreational cannabis potentially.
So from my understanding, there's still the two streams of how it gets done or how it will get done. The one being in the legislative session that's going on currently that ends in April. A referendum will come out of there, in which goes to the ballot in November, and then the voters of Maryland will be able to decide on responsible adult use for ages 21 years or older. And
Yes,
they would come back in the next General Assembly and decide the framework. But there are some people, proponents, who believe that we can decide the framework this session and accompany with passing the referendum to go forward to the ballot, meaning there
yes,
or the hope is therefore when the referendum passes, the legalization um, goes into effect. And
exactly.
yes, exactly.
Hi, my name is William Honolulu Jr., and I have the privilege of being the host of the Black USA News Morning Show. Black USA News has partnered with the DM Firm, The Grinding Gang, Be More News, and DM Global Marketing and PR Firm to bring you the Perfect Pitch Planning Program. The program will help business owners develop the skills to compete and present a detailed plan to open or grow a business. During the program, you will learn how to create an entrepreneurial mindset, how to clarify and communicate who your target customer is, how to design your business model to meet your customer's need, and how to create realistic financial projections. The first session will be held on February 19th from 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you register by February 10th, you will receive an additional $50 discount. If you use the promo code BlackUSANews, you will receive an extra 10% off. If you are ready to take your business to the next level and save some money, act now before prices rise. This program is sponsored by the book I Am Black Wall Street by Donnie Glover, with a foreword by the Honorable William Billy Murphy Jr.
Hey, Hope. So, of course, we were talking about cannabis, what's happening in Maryland, what's going on at the General Assembly. Hope, we have this referendum bill. We have a bunch of bills revolving cannabis, whether it be the having a handgun, being able to, be a medical patient and have your handgun. There's, of course, the tax bill that you've mentioned. Do you believe that this time around we're going to do right by Black people? And when I say that, I mean it's cynical, but in the same sense of like, I know the first time around with the medical we didn't, and I know that in this aspect, a lot of people want to legalize, but like we want opportunities, and we want to see, of course, a social equity fund that works, because in some of these places where the social equity fund is set up, it hasn't worked as planned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I say that because, most people are not that direct with when they say they want to see a program benefit Black people.
Of course.
And at the end of the day, that's the truth. That's what we want to see. And that was the point. So I think that that's awesome. And we just have to, hold the state accountable. And I truly believe, the efforts of the Black Caucus the past few years, and just the typical emphasis on social equity throughout the cannabis industry, period, is going to be reflected in Maryland's laws for sure. I don't think Maryland wants to get it wrong again.
I mean, I agree. And I think that, of course, the change in leadership we had recently, is helpful. Definitely being, progressive and forward minded, so it's good to have leadership. I will say that, big ups to Senator Ferguson and Speaker Jones. But one of the questions I had was, are you familiar with the push now for the access for medical cannabis for medical patients in hospice care, or like hospitals?
Yeah, I've seen that, and even in like VA run systems and all the sort. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I'd recently kind of learned about that advocacy push, but I think that's definitely something that makes sense. Like for one, this person's a medical patient. And a lot of times when they go into the hospital, sometimes their conditions worsen, especially knowing that they're now using opioids when they were so used to using organic, holistic treatment.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that that's awesome. At the end of the day, we need equitable access for everyone, for
Yes.
sure.
Well, I would agree with you, Hope, and I would say that I have a few set of questions, very quick, of course, simple questions. What is your consumption method of choice? Would it be flour? Would it be concentrates? Would it be edibles? Would it be tincture? Like educate CBD. What
Yeah.
do you consume it all?
So, yeah, definitely I consume, yeah, for sure. There's so many different ways that you can consume cannabis and for so many different reasons. Um, I think right now for me, I'm really exploring like edibles and how they work in my body and all of that. Was a flower consumer earlier in my life, and definitely exploring new ways to use the plant now.
Hey, that's what it's about, right? Like, learning. I would say that, flour is always great, flour.
Right. That's the OG, right?
Yeah, but edibles, I'm here for that. Like, I would love to, see an infused restaurant happen, something.
Yeah.
I would love to see something like that happen. But
Totally.
the next question: Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Who's gonna win the Super Bowl? I know you. I know you have some.
LA.
Okay, I got
They're
you.
gonna win in their hometown, of course.
Got got you. And of course, last question. This is Black History Month, and we
Yeah.
recognize that. Out of nowhere, who's your favorite figure as far like Black historical icon?
Man, there are so many people that
Who you rocking with? Who's on your wall? You know what I mean? Who are you rocking with?
Yeah, I'm thinking of some like modern day people right now. I mean, I love all the people that risked their lives back when, uh, you know, uh, any talking about racist issues were super taboo. Today, I'm really proud of people like Gary Chambers who have spoke out against, racist drug laws, and he's making it the pillar of his campaign right now. He's running for Senate in Louisiana and is making this a national issue to point out. And I think that's super impressive. And that's living Black history.
Gary is pushing the conversation, living Black
Yeah.
history. I'm glad you mentioned that, Hope, because I could end on that, letting the people know that this weekend, well, actually today, well, no.
Hmm.
This weekend, Gary's going to be in town and hosting a fundraiser. The thought is he's raising money from all across the U.S. to win this
Right.
race within Louisiana because we need more cannabis positive people on Capitol Hill, and we could use more people of color in the U.S. Senate. I'm not sure if you've seen the breakdown, but it's very few, zip zilch in the U.S. Senate. Congress,
Hmm.
a lot more, but in the U.S. Senate, very very close to zilch. So check it out. Gary's going to be in the DMV area, and then also hope you continue to do great work. I want to mention to the people that you're helping organize this second legislative town hall around cannabis, and the thought
Hmm.
is to bring many partners and many people in the industry to have many voices represented for this discussion.
Yes. Awesome, awesome. And, thank you, Martin, for all that you do to organize as well. I know you said that I help to organize, but you initiate the organization. So thank you.
Of course, of course. And is there anything you want to say? Highlights anything you got going on before we head out?
Well, no, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone that's ever supported my business, or even learned about my story and it's helped you in any way, shape, or form. I'm very proud to have been able to inspire many and hope to continue to grow in this industry and as a person and help others.
Well, one thing I want to ask Hope is how can we learn more about not just your business, but your nonprofit and philanthropic work you do?
Totally, yeah. I'm a part of a lot of industry organizations that fight for advocacy in the cannabis industry and social equity in the cannabis industry. Additionally, something completely different is I co-founded a nonprofit called Crowns of Love that essentially provides hair solutions to people who are experiencing medical hair loss, whether it be from alopecia to cancer treatments. I'm really passionate about helping others and helping people feel proud of who they are and what they're going through in both industries that I'm involved in. So if you want to learn more, I'm the most active on Instagram. Follow me. I am Hope So Dope. My nonprofit is called Crowns of Love. You can follow us on Instagram as well at Crowns of Love. You can follow my dispensary at Mariam Maine, and all of the websites are at those same handles. So please follow me and keep up to date with everything I have going on.
Yes. Well, thank you, Hope, very much for joining us. I
Thank
appreciate
you, Martin.
and we'll hope your Super Bowl picks come through.
We'll see, right? We'll circle back.
Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks again for everything you do.
Yes, thank you, Martin.
Okay. Have a good one. Well, there we go. Coming up next, we have Anisha Thompson, local business owner. Hey, there goes Miss Thompson joining us. Yes. So.
Hi. I can
Oh,
barely
you were a
hear. The
little
volume
glitchy.
just got really low.
You got it. You got it. You good there?
Yeah, I can hear. It's just really low. So speak
Okay.
up.
I was just giving you your flowers. So I was saying we have local business owner Anisha Thompson here. You know, today it is Black Woman Day, as you can see. You know, a lot of Black excellence going on. But Anisha, she is a local business owner in the city of Laurel. Of course, you know, the city that, you know, I also am very proud of, my hometown. So I met Anisha probably almost a year ago now. I met her on the campaign trail when I was campaigning for a city councilman in Laurel, and of course that's when I learned more about, you know, her exciting business. It's called Elevation Station. So she is the owner, and she is a birth and fertility doula and a womb specialist. But this business is so much more. So I want, you know, Anisha, tell us a little bit about Elevation Station and, you know, just yourself.
Okay, well, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So Elevation Station that's my baby. We started as just wound care. We do yoni steams. Sure, some people know what they are, but a lot of people don't.
You got
A
to educate
yoni steam is for a woman to use herbs and steam to steam their womb, and it's beneficial for so many reasons. From it gets rid of fibroids, it helps with fertility. It's good just to, you know, rejuvenate that area, and trying to think of the way to put it for this. Rejuvenate that area. It's good for after
right.
giving birth.
Get you right. You know, that's what you can say. It gets you right. It
Gets you right down there. Good for
right.
lubrication, good for rejuvenation, good for fibroids, good for fertility, good for after birth. It's also really good for, on a deeper level, it's really good for connecting with your feminine energy and removing blockages. It's crazy. People are like, how can steaming that part of your body help to remove blockages in my life? But just like creativity blockages and things like that, if you're feeling stuck, a yoni steam is really good because, you know, the womb is where things are birthed. We hold a lot of power there as women, and being able to steam that area and kind of just take that time to go within is very beneficial. So we started with just wound care. And I am a birthing doula, which is one of the things that is near and dear to my heart. The maternal mortality level is ridiculous in this country. And I just feel like mothers need an advocate. So that's my part of this business. That's what I do. We also do non-invasive body sculpting and skincare as well, all natural skincare. Just because, you know, I wanted a place where a woman can kind of just come and have some self-care and maybe, you know, fix some things to help them develop their self-love, and whatever it is that they need, they can get here at Elevation Station when it pertains to those things. So that's pretty much what we do here.
So one of the things that you said, it was a doula. You might have to educate people on, you know, what a doula is and, you know, some of the benefits on, you know, having a doula.
Okay, so as a birthing, well, let me start with the fertility doula. As a fertility doula, I help women who they may have issues conceiving, and it could be for many reasons. They could have different things like PCOS or, you know, just unexplained infertility. So I work with women one-on-one to prepare their bodies to be in a place to be able to conceive, prepare their wombs, prepare their minds. We do a lot of meditations and affirmations, because a lot of times when dealing with fertility issues, you know, it can become a thing for a woman. It can become cumbersome for them, and they're, you know, it's almost like a sore spot. So I really like to help these women kind of put that into perspective and focus on, more positive things. So I help them with the mindfulness of it. I help with getting their womb ready, and then I walk them through. I do everything except actually get them pregnant. Like I tell them, this is the day you need to have sex. And we find that out by plotting different things, different metrics as their temperature every day, and doing ovulation checks, and kind of just teaching them to be in tune with their body and know when their body is ready for that. So that's the fertility doula.
Sure.
And then moving from that, birthing doula is, I'm an advocate for women. I'm going to say not to say I only will be a doula for Black women, but that is my main focus, because we are dying at an alarming rate. We are 4 times more likely to die giving birth than any other race, which is absolutely insane. And a lot of that comes because our intelligence is undermined in the medical field. They don't believe us. A lot of times they think we're just, whining. They don't believe our pain level. They don't believe that we know. So they kind of just, birth is treated almost like a business here. You come into the hospital, pop the babies out, and move out the way so they can get somebody else into your bed. And that's pretty much how it goes. So in my practice, I like to, I kind of center the birth around the couple and the child. We spend more time at home laboring so that you can be in your space or wherever you want to be, a birthing center, home, hospital. But I kind of make it a vibe, make it comfortable, lower the lights, maybe have some candles, music playing. And I help, if it's a woman who doesn't have a partner, I will be her partner there. I will help advocate for her. I'll make sure before birth that she's educated on the things that are necessary. And then there's things in the hospital when giving birth that they will make it seem like it's necessary when it's really just what they want, because that's what'll move you through quicker. So there's a lot of things. For example, after a woman gives birth, they cut the cord right there. They rush the baby off, and they're doing all types of things to the baby, where a lot of my clients prefer to leave the baby attached to the umbilical cord and, spend time with that baby just on their chest or right there before they detach the cord. So different things like that are things that women aren't always educated about their rights, and that it's their right when they give birth. So I make sure that my clients are educated on what's a necessity and what's an option, and then help them make informed decisions. And then a lot of times I have to advocate to, well, this is what you said you wanted, and give them the strength and the background to know that this is your right to ask for. So it's pretty much what a birthing doula does. I'm also a big breastfeeding advocate, so I usually like to stay after the baby's born and make sure, do a little mini breastfeeding course and help make sure that everything's okay with the couple and the new baby. So that's pretty much what I do.
Well, let me ask you one question about the doula, then we'll keep it pushing. But as far as in relation to the pricing, right? We know that having babies in hospitals is astronomical. Of course,
yeah.
all the medicine they're gonna pump, the doctors, all these different equipment, yada yada. It could be like $50,000 for one baby or something.
Right.
Time you're done. What is kind of ballpark? What are we thinking of? For me to go the doula route, or for someone to take the doula route, just out of curiosity.
So, well, honestly, you can get a doula at every price range. You honestly can. And a lot of times, not here in the city of Laurel, which may be something we work on, but like in DC, if you're a certain income level, you don't meet, you're below a certain income level, you can qualify for a birthing doula. I, on the other hand, my price, I keep my prices minimal because this is something, again, that's near and dear to me. And I get my money really from the spa. So this is something that I do. So my prices are on the lower end of them, but my largest package is $1,111. And my smallest, and that's like full everything. That's like courses or classes. I'll give you childbirth classes and childhood education classes before going to birth, and then a little care after birth. That package is $1,111. And then my smallest package is just virtual, which is something that I started doing during the pandemic. It's just virtual, virtual advocacy, really. I'm on with them, something like this, and usually there's a partner there in the room, and I can instruct the father or the mother, whoever the partner is, well, these are some positions that'll help the baby drop, or these are some positions that can help with pain relief and things that, we would have went over prior to that day. And that package is $333. So it's a range, but it's affordable. And I'm not 100% sure of it, but I know that there was some money allocated for Maryland for maternal mortality and maternal health, and that I'm not sure if it's approved yet, but you will be able to use insurance and medical assistance for your doulas. I'm not exactly sure all about how that went and if it's approved yet, but like they realize that it's an issue and people are working on it.
Hey, well that's awesome. So it's very cost efficient. It's not something you're gonna have debt for years.
Right. Not $50,000 for sure. I'm sure there's some doulas that charge that much, but I'm not the one.
and of course, as you mentioned, black fetal mortality is high. So something like this, especially for people of color, should consider all the alternatives.
Definitely. And it's something that you can, with us, we accept like HSA. So a lot of my clients can pay with that. It's something that can be worked out. And then you can also find someone who is willing to like do payment plans or things like that. But I just think it's really important for Black women to have somebody, not saying that we're not educated, because we are, but to have somebody there whose main focus is the mother and what her birth plan is, what she wants her birth to be like. And of course, it doesn't always go like, the mother wants, because the babies kind of have a mind of their own at that point to come out how they want to come out. But I just think it's important that we have the advocacy. It's so sad to see a mother or a baby pass because of negligence on the hospital's part, So it's just so important that we do. I deal with like younger women who get pregnant, teen pregnancies and things like that. A lot of times I'll offer scholarship to them to attend the courses, and I'll just do it, without payment or very little, on a sliding scale. Let's say that I'll provide services on a sliding scale for them, just because I think, especially our young mothers, they just don't get the respect in the hospital that I feel they should have.
I agree with you completely, Anisha. And for someone like a male like myself, and I care about grooming, is there anything in the spa for me? Can I do anything there?
Yeah, there's a lot in this spa for you. We have ionic detoxes, which is an amazing way to remove toxins out of your bodies. We get guys coming here for that. Like usually sometimes they'll come just the guys, but sometimes they'll come on a date. We call it a double detox, but they'll come and we have massage chairs where they'll sit in the chairs and you put your feet in a tub of water and you're hooked to the machine, and it kind of uses electricity to pull the toxins out of the bottom of your feet. So the bucket of water starts as water, and then at the end, it ends up a different color. It could be brown, it could be orange, depending on what was detoxed out of your body. So we have men that do that, and we actually have men that come in and do the body sculpting. So, after the holidays, if you feel like you packed on some pounds and you want to get rid of that, you can come in and we can do away with that as well. And truthfully, now I haven't started doing it, but cutting edge, I'm just saying men can steam as well. However, of course, they don't have yoni, so they're not steaming that part of their body. They're steaming the other end, but it's really great for prostate health. And prostate cancer is wrecking the Black community. But it's really hard dealing with men to tell them, come in and steam your body, because they're like, yeah, right, I'm not doing that. But it's really beneficial for them for that. And even for, I don't know if I can say it on here, but even for like erectile dysfunction, it works for that as well.
Sure. I mean, if you could say Viagra, I'm sure you could talk about erectile dysfunction.
Okay.
It's a medical condition. Absolutely.
Right. So a man can steam. Okay. It's just really hard getting them in here to do that. So.
Hey, okay. Well, hey, I'm gonna continue to advocate, and promote the business, and come seek some of these services myself. I
Yeah,
definitely,
come on in and get a detox
I definitely
on
want
the
to.
house.
You guys got mimosas with the packages, so I saw that. Make sure
Yeah, we
to.
have mimosas, we have hookah. It's a vibe here. It's somewhere to just come and relax and be catered to. Cater to yourself as well.
Sure. Well, one of the things I'll mention, just being very impressed about the business, is where it's located. Of course, it's located in Old Town Laurel, on Main Street, historic Main Street. And the thought is, I've been a resident of Laurel for 25 plus years, and I've seen Laurel continue to diversify, but also, even that Main Street continue to diversify, and which businesses exist there. So, you being a young black business owner, one, how do you like the environment? How do you like Main Street, Laurel? And what are something that you or what is something that you would like to see moving forward, from the city, or from the community, or business community?
Well, I actually love Main Street. When I first moved here, honestly, I didn't know how many black business owners there were on this street. Like, and we joke and we call this like Black Wall Street, because like you go down Main Street, and I'm not going to say every business, but there are a lot of us here, and a lot of us are young business owners. So I love it for that reason alone. I really do. But and I also love the close knit community here. Most of the business owners know each other or know of each other. We kind of come to each, go patronize each other's businesses. And I know I usually have flyers up in More Than Java and Caribbean restaurant. And, so we just kind of all stick together. So I do enjoy the close knit feel of Main Street. And I was in Laurel before. Well, before I moved to this location, I was over off of Sandy Spring, right behind the municipal center. And it was completely different feel. So I like Main Street.
Yeah.
This will be home for at least the next 5 years.
Okay. Well, hey, we would love to keep you in Laurel, and I am very proud as a Laurel resident, and of course an official here now. Just humbly, respectfully, but I appreciate that we have.
No humbly, say it. Do that. No right. Humbly.
Right.
We're too humble as a people. Don't be humble.
Well, I am an elected public servant. Yes, I'm aware. And I love to see that there's more black business owners on Main Street, because, like I said, it wasn't like this 15, 20 years ago. So I love to see the diversity coming, and I love to see more businesses. I know there was a Senegalese restaurant coming, or that just opened. You had mentioned More Than Java. They are great for the community.
They're always helping out. I really enjoy them. You asked what I would like to see. So
sure.
I know they usually have like a Main Street festival, right?
They do. Of course, COVID has, been around.
Right. I do think that there should be some celebration for the diversity on this street. Main Street Festival, I've been maybe 1 year, a few years back, and there are some of us, but I just, this area right here is developing. And again, there's a lot of us here. So I would love to see like a Black Business Festival or a Black Business something where, all of us come together and put on something. What you say?
No, I said, let's make it happen. That sounds like
No, that would be fun. I think so. Just to celebrate the diversity in this area. Because like you said, it wasn't always like that.
We don't have to do it during Black History Month.
No, Black History 365.
Not to shade Black History Month, but just saying that like we could have a Black History week or day, or an event, any day outside of, February.
Right. That would be fun. I'm definitely down. I'm always ready to plan something.
For sure. And are you are you happy about Gary coming to town?
I am. I'm excited. We're hopefully attending tonight. Fingers crossed. Yeah. I've got my two partners who work with me coming, and I'm excited. He's a very controversial guy, and I really hope he makes waves. I'm excited to see this.
Well, he's pushing the conversation. I mean, the only thing that's controversial about it is the fact that he's now the guy that's pro cannabis, and he's come out about it. And yes, it's a hot button issue, but like my earlier guest Hope mentioned, is cannabis is now sexy. You know what I mean? Like cannabis is now mainstream. You know,
Right.
and the thought is, it's like you should be able to openly have a conversation about your cannabis usage, but also about the harms that, like enforcement around cannabis and the war on drugs has caused.
Right.
So we should be honest and open to have a conversation about that. I'd say controversial, but I'd say
In a
captivating.
good way.
Yeah, controversial in a good way, but captivating enough for us to have a conversation. Right.
Right.
That's what we need to continue having, especially at the federal level.
Definitely. And I like his shock value. I think that it shakes up the people that need to get shook up about it. So I like the way, his campaign, what was it, his campaign commercial where he was smoking on there and stuff. That's something that you don't usually see. So
roll 3.5 and put it in the backwood. And spit
a whole 3.5 in the backwood.
3.5 and spit facts about why the policies around it have to change and where his state is on these issues. 49th, 5th, 48th, 50th. So you're hearing like, cannabis shouldn't be a priority issue, but we know that especially where he lives, they're using cannabis, especially in these little local parishes, to patrol Black people, keep them on parole, keep them on probation. You know what I mean? Like, just think of it as like one of the biggest disqualifiers, ever. You know what I mean? So
I agree completely. I know some people from that I went to school with and stuff that are actually serving an obscene amount of time for marijuana.
Really?
It's upsetting, but I really think the policy around it needs to change. I'm an advocate of it. My mother herself, as me being an herbalist, of course, I'm an advocate of it. But my mother was on, I'll say, about 19 prescription drugs, including nerve medication, to the point to where her cognitive ability was like decreasing. Like she was really getting spacey. So I challenged her to start smoking with intention, like start not even just smoking, but start using cannabis with intention. And she has literally cut out all 19 medications within a year. Since a year of getting her card, she is off everything and she's thriving and doing great.
You know what? I wanted to I was about to end it, but I was about to go to your rapid round, but I got a segue just to right there respond to that, because you talked about how she's found this, or you've educated her about a holistic way in which she can replace all of the opioids that right. So the thing that is, when I first when DC first legalized, of course, there was the pop-up scenes, and the pop-ups are still happening, things like that.
Right.
But one of the first people I met was an advocate in the industry, and a medical patient, but she was also a veteran. So one of the things we know about veterans is they have a lot of trauma, whether it be mental trauma or physical trauma.
Definitely. I'm a Navy vet. I wouldn't say I have trauma from that, but I know a lot of people that do.
Sure. So the thought is like she had some physical illnesses in which she was being prescribed different opioids, and some of those opioids were destroying some of her vital organs. Right. So then she became a medical cannabis patient, and not as impressively as your mom on 19. Like that is, that is very impressive. But she was on, a handful of different ones, and now she's only using hemp, CBD, anything cannabis flower related.
Right.
And the thought is like, this should be available for everyone, at least if they need it. And the education and the research around there should be available, because, I know patients that move states that have become medical because, they're not allowed to medically use cannabis because of, their illness and, the laws that are, in their
surrounding it. Right.
You got to leave the state to get well. You can't get that holistic treatment.
Right. I definitely agree. I actually am going to be in the next few weeks using some CBD. I have some clients who have some pelvic trauma from prior like sexual assaults and things, and just that area down there is very sore to them. Just to go in their normal day, they have a lot of pain down there. So I am attempting to steam them with CBD. And in my mind, this is going to work great. I'm pretty sure, because it's really good for inflammation. And
Sure.
that's where, a lot of the pain is coming from down there. So I have an appointment with her next week. She's coming in, and I'm going to use CBD along with some of my other herbs to steam her and see if that helps with the pain. And I'm pretty sure it's going to. But that's all about what I do here. I'm a nurse, actually, and I'm an ER nurse at that.
Okay.
And I also worked in a doctor's office, and that's what kind of led me here. Is I saw the relationship between the doctors and the pharmaceutical companies. And it, not to say it was unethical, but it just looked a little shady that these prescriptions were often being given to these patients.
But
like
hold
just
on,
this
yeah.
one, because he came in and bought everybody lunch. Now you're prescribing these prescriptions at an alarming rate. And it just began to really bother my soul. So I really dove into the holistic approach, and to the point where I don't even practice anymore in the hospital. My whole day is spent here at the spa. So
I wanted
it's
to say, you said I wanted to be honest about it. I consider there to be some wrongdoing. Of course, there's been congressional hearings, that have deemed, these pharmaceutical companies and, doctors all culpable, in, the opioid epidemic that we have going on currently. And
right.
like going back to Gary and weed and, it's just how you control people, right?
Yeah.
So the thought is like, in Louisiana, they're keeping people behind bars and they're still, getting you off the smell and, not decriminalize stuff like that, right? And
Right.
um, the thought is the sheriffs are lining their pockets, lining their pockets. They're
Yeah.
paid to house people. The judges, I'm sure they're getting kickbacks, on the campaigns. So like everybody's eating off of this, right? Everybody is eating. Let's not believe that.
Yeah. And you know what? So many people indulge that it's like people that are actually that you wouldn't even believe. Like when I say I worked in the hospital, like when I found out some of the doctors that smoked, but but it wasn't legal. It's not legal. And just even if you don't have ailments, like marijuana helps with anxiety, I mean, that is an ailment, but even if you don't have pain, there's reasons that you can smoke. I mean, everybody's probably suffering from a little PTSD right now, for what we've been through the last couple of years. So I
Especially
really respect you and your mission, and Gary as well, because it's needed.
Well, I appreciate that. And me, I've been always a candidate who has been, pro cannabis, pro legalization, but also responsible adult use, and also making sure that, we also educate. Because the thing is like, trying to educate people. Okay, you don't necessarily want the psychoactive effects. Maybe here's some CBD, some hemp products that can help you. The thought is that if hemp flourished, cotton wouldn't, right? Because hemp has so many more uses. Hemp is more sustainable.
Right.
But these are all conversations that I have on a daily basis. So I will continue to work, and just moving towards this lightning round. I wanted to ask you, of course, what's one fun fact about yourself?
Oh God, everything about me is fun. One fun fact about myself, I well, interesting fact. I don't know how fun it is. I actually left for the military. I joined the military the day before the September 11th attacks.
What?
And I left. I was supposed to leave on the 11th. I ended up leaving on the 12th because everything got shut down that day. But I actually was one of those first groups right after the attacks shipped off into boot camp. And it was a crazy time. Long time ago, though. But that's something a lot of people don't even know that I'm a veteran. So that's an interesting fact.
I got you. Next question: Biggie or Tupac?
Tupac.
Okay. Now, so because for me it was conversational, right? For me, it's like it's Tupac when I'm like, I'm warming up or I'm in the mood or I'm driving in my car or something, and then
Right.
Biggie in the zone, like I'm getting ready to go to the club. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Biggie is definitely more of like a dance, get your party on. But Tupac, he's a poet. I mean,
exactly.
And he's just he's a force, period. So I definitely will choose Tupac. But of course, I'm on the East Coast, so I am a Biggie fan.
I got you. Pepsi or Coke?
neither.
Do you watch anime?
No, I don't. Although I have scrolled through Naruto.
Okay.
I have scrolled through that a little bit, so I'm a little. That was maybe a week ago, and I actually watched an episode. Like, this isn't even a cartoon. This is like a show.
Absolutely. The next thing I would say, very last thing, it is Black History Month. Of course, we love to recognize, Black excellence, Black people doing great things. Any Black figures, idols that you look up to that just one. You gotta pick one.
My favorite. Anyone who knows me knows I have a serious obsession with Harriet Tubman. I'm talking about have read everything, like know her life inside and out. So I'll have to choose her. And I feel like in a way, like I'm trying to mimic her freeing the people from slavery by freeing them from the slavery of the medicines and just always needing to I really want my slogan here at Elevation Station is take charge of your life. No, I'm sorry, I screwed it up. Take charge of your health, take charge of your life, because I really feel like we need to be empowered. Sometimes we don't have to always go and get the prescription from the doctor. There's like steps in between. Sure. So I feel like in the medical arena, holistic arena, in my mind, I'm the Harriet Tubman leading them away from the slavery of the pills and the medicine.
Will we ever see the Harriet Tubman Dubman?
Will you ever see the Harriet Tubman what?
Dubman. We're supposed to get that Harriet Tubman $20 bill.
The dollar, right? What happened to that?
Man, I don't know. We got those Black woman quarters first. You saw that.
I would love that. When I say obsessed, I'm obsessed. If I had a poster of her, it would be on the wall.
Well, we can agree. Harriet Tubman, she has done a lot for Black people. And of course, advancing. And of course, we can talk about her every day of the year. We don't have to talk about her just on Black History Month.
Right, agreed.
That Black excellence and Black joy is going on every day.
Just every day. I agree.
But thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything you wanted to tell the people? How can they connect with you? Anything like that?
My website is www.elevationstation. Elevation is spelled ELYVATION. I'm on Instagram as Elevation Station, and our phone number is 301-327-4555. So call me for, anything I mentioned, give me a call. Well, and you come in and get your detox.
Oh, I definitely will. Well, thanks everybody. We had two phenomenal Black women on for this episode, week 2 of People Over Politics. So definitely check us out next Sunday. All right.
See you soon. Bye-bye.